This is Part 3, which includes requirements for background checks, employment eligibility, MyRegistry, training, and ratios. Notes before starting. Except for definitions, records, and transportation, all rule numbers are new. We have two heading above each rule. Amended equals the rule was changed. New rule equals the rule is new. Comprehensive Background Check Part 1 of 2. R 400.1919 amended. 2. An applicant or licensee shall do all of the following. B. Maintain a copy of the completed and signed form or forms for each individual entered into the Child Care Background Check System under the license. C. Provide the department on request a copy of the individual's completed and signed form or forms. D. Establish and activate an account and accurately enroll each individual listed in Subrule 1 of this rule in the Child Care Background Check System. Comprehensive Background Check Part 2 of 2. R 400.1919 amended. 2. An applicant or licensee shall do all of the following. F. Immediately disconnect each individual from the system once they are no longer a licensee, adult member of the household, childcare assistant, childcare staff member, or an unsupervised volunteer under the license. 3. An individual may serve as a childcare staff member pending an eligibility determination by the department, in accordance with Section 5N. 8 of the Act, MCL 722.115N, and shall be supervised at all times by the licensee or a child care staff member who is determined eligible. Address Verification. Part 1 of 2, R 400.1919 amended. 5. An individual who requires a comprehensive background check pursuant to Sections 5N and 5Q of the Act, MCL 722.115N and 722.115Q, shall submit to the department, on a form prescribed by the department, all personally identifiable information necessary to conduct the comprehensive background check, including all of the following. O. If the individual resided outside this state during the last 5 years, provide each of those addresses. S. Other information determined reasonably necessary by the department to determine the eligibility of the individual based on a name-based registry match. Address Verification. Part 2 of 2, R 400.1919 amended. 6. The department shall maintain confidentiality of all personally identifiable information submitted pursuant to this rule to the extent allowed by law. Child Care Staff Member, Eligibility. R 400.1920 amended. 1. An individual who is employed as a child care staff member in a child care home shall be 16 years of age or older, pursuant to Section 1 of the Act, MCL 722.111. 2. Before contact with children, the individual shall be determined by the department to be eligible to serve as a child care staff member, pursuant to Sections 5N and 5Q of the Act, MCL 722.115N and 722.115Q, and as required by R 400.1919. This amendment lowers the minimum age for child care staff members from 18 to 16 and clarifies that they must be determined eligible before having contact with children. Child Care Staff Member, Certification Requirement. R 400.1920 amended. 3. Before caring for children at a child care home, an individual shall provide the licensee both of the following. A. A valid certification in pediatric, infant, child, and adult CPR. B. A valid certification in pediatric first aid. This update requires valid certifications in pediatric, infant, child, and adult CPR, as well as pediatric first aid, before caring for children. This aligns with federal requirements. Child Care Staff Member, Conduciveness. R 400.1920 amended. 4. A child care staff member shall conduct themselves in a manner that is conducive to the welfare of children and be able to meet the needs of children and provide for the children's care, supervision, and protection. This rule requires staff to conduct themselves in a manner conducive to children's welfare. Wording was updated from gendered language to neutral, inclusive terms. Child Care Assistant Requirements. R 400.1921 New Rule # and amended. 1. A child care assistant shall be 14 to 15 years of age. 2. Before contact with children, the individual shall be determined by the department to be eligible to serve as a child care assistant, as required by R 400.1903, 1, R, and S. 3. Within 90 days of hire, a child care assistant shall provide the licensee both of the following: a valid certification in pediatric, infant, child, and adult CPR. b. A valid certification in pediatric first aid. This new rule number updates assistant requirements. Assistants must be 14 to 15 years old, determined eligible before contact with children, and obtain pediatric CPR and pediatric first aid within 90 days of hire. My Registry, R 400.1922 New Rule. 1. Within 30 calendar days after employment, all staff shall have an individual My Registry account and have a non-expired My Registry membership status that would include materials submitted, received, awaiting print, or current. 2. Within 30 calendar days after employment, all staff shall have a verified program organization employment entry in My Registry. 3. Verification of the qualifications of all staff must be maintained on file at the home 2 years from effective date of this rule, after which qualifications must be verified in My Registry. Child Care Homes New Hire Training, Part 1 of 3, 400.1923 amended. 1. All staff shall participate in the Child Care Homes orientation training within 90 days of being present at the child care home and before caring for children unsupervised. 2. The Child Care Homes New Hire Training must include all of the following areas: a. The prevention of shaken baby syndrome. Module A. b. The prevention of sudden infant death syndrome and use of safe sleep practices. Safe sleep. C. The prevention of abusive head trauma. Module A. D. The prevention of child maltreatment. Module A. E. The recognition and reporting of child abuse and neglect. Module A. This amendment requires orientation training within 90 days of being present at the home and before anyone works unsupervised. The above asterisks are not in the rule language but are suggested training that can be used to meet the intent of the rule. Child Care Homes New Hire Training, Part 2 of 3, R 400.1923 amended. 2. The Child Care Homes orientation training must include all of the following areas: f. The prevention and control of infectious diseases, including immunizations. Module A. G. Emergency preparedness and response planning as described in Rule 400.1945. Module C. H. Administration of medication. Module B. Prevention of and response to emergencies due to food and allergic reactions as provided in Rule 400.1937 Module B. J. Building and physical premises safety, including identification of and protection from hazards, bodies of water, and vehicular traffic. Module C. The above asterisks are not in the rule language but are suggested training that can be used to meet the intent of the rule. Child Care Homes New Hire Training, Part 3 of 3, R 400.1923 amended. 2. The Child Care Homes orientation training must include all of the following areas: K. Handling and storage of hazardous materials and appropriate disposal of biocontaminants. Module B. L. Precautions in transporting children if the child care home provides transportation with children at any time. Transportation Module M. Child development including the major domains of cognitive, social, emotional, physical development, and approaches to learning. Module B. N. Pediatric first aid and pediatric, infant, child, and adult CPR, unless the new staff presents a valid certification pursuant to R 400.1920. 3. A. R 400.1920. 3. B. R 400.1921. 3. A. And R 400.1921. 3. B. Module C. The above asterisks are not in the rule language but are suggested training that can be used to meet the intent of the rule. New Hire Training in My Registry, R 400.1923 New Rule. 3. Until the staff member or unsupervised volunteer has completed the new hire training, the staff member or unsupervised volunteer shall be supervised by the licensee or child care staff member who has completed the orientation training. 4. Verification of all training required by this rule must be maintained on file at the child care home until 2 years after the effective date of this rule, after which qualifications must be reflected as verified in my registry. This new rule states that staff and unsupervised volunteers must be supervised until they complete orientation training. Training records must be kept on file until they transition to verification in my registry after 2 years. Professional Development Part 1 of 4, R 400.1924 amended. 1. A licensee shall complete not less than 10 clock hours of professional development each calendar year related to all of the following. Updates to topics covered in R 400.1923. 2. Personnel, not including the licensee, shall complete not less than 5 clock hours of professional development each calendar year related to all of the following. Updates to topics covered in R 400.1923. The amendment rules list these updates to the new higher training rules as required training topic. To provide further clarity, the wording of professional development was updated, changed from training. Professional Development Part 2 of 4, R 400.1924 New Rule. 3. An unsupervised volunteer shall complete not less than 1 hour of professional development each calendar year related to all of the following. A. Child development. B. Caring for children. C. Updates to topics covered in R 400.1923. 4. A driver shall complete not less than 1 hour of professional development each calendar year related to all of the following. A. Caring for children. B. Transportation. C. Updates to topics covered in R 400.1923. Professional Development Part 3 of 4, R 400.1924 New Rule. 5. Staff may count CPR and first aid certification hours toward the professional development hours in the calendar year taken. This new rule allows CPR and first aid certification hours to count toward annual professional development. Professional Development Part 4 of 4, R 400.1924 amended. 7. Verification of all professional development required by this rule must be maintained on file at the child care home until 2 years from the effective date of this rule, after which professional development must be reflected as verified in my registry. Completion of the required training must be verified by a document, signed by the trainer or an authorized individual, which must be kept on file or available online at my registry. 8. Pediatric first aid and pediatric, infant, child, and adult CPR and certification must be maintained according to the expiration dates on the individual certification cards. All professional development in my registry. R 400.1924 New Rule. 10. 2 years from the effective date of this rule, all training to meet professional development requirements must be approved in my registry. Health and Safety Training, R 400.1924 amended. 11. When the department publishes a notice that a new health and safety update document or a new health and safety update training activity was published on my registry, the licensee shall ensure that all applicable personnel and unsupervised volunteers read and acknowledge the document or complete the activity within the timeframe indicated on the notice. Increased capacity. Request 400.1925 New Rule. 2. The licensee may request from the department an increased capacity to 7 for a family child care home and 14 for a group child care home after satisfying all of the following criteria. A. Holds a current license. B. Has been licensed to operate for at least 29 consecutive months. C. Has received 1 or more unrelated minor children for care and supervision during the licensed period. D. Has received a renewed regular license after at least 29 months of licensed operation. 3. This rule is not subject to the variance specified in R 400.1908. Ratio of staff to children for family homes. Part 1 of 2, R 400.1927 amended and new rule. 1. The ratio of staff to children present in the family child care home and during transportation at any one time must be not less than 1 member of staff to 6 children. The ratio must include both of the following. A. All children in care who are not related to any staff members. B. Any child under school age related to the licensee, child care staff member, childcare assistant, unsupervised volunteer, or member of the household by blood, marriage, or adoption. 2. The ratio may increase to 1 staff member to 7 children if the licensee is approved for an increased capacity as described in R 400.1925, 2. Ratio of staff to children for family homes. Part 2 of 2, R 400.1927 amended, 3. For each staff member, not more than 4 children shall be under the age of 24 months, with not more than 2 of the 4 children under the age of 12 months. Ratio of staff to children in group child care homes. Part 1 of 2, R 400.1928 New Rule. 1. The ratio of staff to children present in the group child care home and during transportation at any one time must be not less than 1 member of the staff to 6 children. The ratio must include both of the following. A. All children in care who are not related to any staff members. B. Any child under school age related to the licensee, child care staff member, child care assistant, unsupervised volunteer or member of the household by blood, marriage, or adoption. Ratio of staff to children in group child care homes. Part 2 of 2, R 400.1928 New Rule. 2. The ratio may increase to 1 staff member to 7 children if the licensee is approved for an increased capacity as described in R 400.1925, 2. 3. During, before, and after school hours only, group childcare homes may accommodate up to 3 school-age children with a maximum staff-to-child ratio of 1 staff member to 9 children or 1 staff member to 10 children, if the licensee is approved for an increased capacity as described in R 400.1925, 2. Ratio of staff to children in group childcare homes. R 400.1928 New Rule. 4. For each staff member, not more than 4 children shall be under the age of 24 months, with not more than 2 of the 4 children under the age of 12 months. Care, supervision, children. R 400.1929 amended. 1. A licensee shall ensure appropriate care and supervision of children at all times, including during transportation. 4. Staff shall know the location of each child at all times. 5. Staff shall never leave a child unattended or with a minor in a vehicle. Special health issues for infants and toddlers. R 400.1930 amended. 4. If a child has a health issue or a special need that requires the child sleep in an alternate position or in something other than a crib, portable crib, or play yard for infants and toddlers, or cot or mat for toddlers, documentation from the child's healthcare provider is required. The documentation must include specific sleeping instructions and time frames for how long the child needs to sleep in this manner and include an anticipated end date. Supervision of sleeping infants. R 400.1930 amended. 5. Staff shall maintain supervision and monitor infants' breathing, sleep position, bedding, and possible signs of distress, except as provided in R 400.1944. End of Part 3. This concludes the end of Part 3 staffing video.